Let's welcome next, fighting out of the red corner, Valanti 300 Atsas.
This facility is Valanti's home. He's a Merrillville, Indiana native. He's been a staple of Elite Fight Night over the last 3-4 years. He is ready to go 3-0 as a pro, looking to advance to 4-0. He told me he feels great, camp was great, no stone was left unturned, and he did everything he could to prepare for this fight. We talked about it before. This is the conclusion to a trilogy. Fight number one.
Not only moving to 4-0 as a professional, but closing the door on this trilogy.
First fight was 6 years ago. The first two, we should say, they were amateur fighters, both of them. 6 years ago. 4 years ago was their second fight. In the first fight, Valanti took the loss. In the second, he was able to get a finish in the third round. He has studied his opponent. These two have a lot of respect for each other as well. And this time, Valanti feels like he's in his prime. We are going to see a different Valanti Atsas than was seen the first two times through.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Valanti himself is one of these guys that is going to constantly be evolving every time he comes out here. The fight was supposed to happen at EFN 20. Well, we have a completely new, Valanti Atsas here at EFN 21. We talked about the trilogy, right? They actually handed each other their first losses as amateurs. But it's fair to say this one's for all the marbles, right? Now they're professionals. Now the records, these records, there's no wiping the record now.
These are the records that matter. That's what everybody else. Oh well, my record. Well, you're still an amateur. Okay.
Right.
Nobody looks back at amateur records. Okay. I mean, maybe they do, but they don't count. When you're trying to get somewhere, what did you do as a professional? Who have you fought as a professional? How many times have you won? How many times have you lost? How are you winning? How are you losing? That's what they're going to look at. So I think this is the biggest and the most important between these two.
And how rare that we get the opportunity to see a series in MMA, right?
Yeah, for Seijo at this stage in his career, when I spoke to him, he said it was going to take a very special fighter, a special fighter to motivate him and, as they say, get him out of bed. And not that he ever leaves the gym, because the man clearly has martial arts running through his veins. But a fighter like Valanti Atsas completing this trilogy is something that he's going to need, the fuel he wanted to get back in the cage at 45 years old. And Valanti Atsas is more than happy to settle the score here as he looks to continue continue his momentum, continue the freight train that is 300 Atsas.
Yeah, and he's been consistently active from the time he made his debut till now. Very, very consistent.
And now let's welcome, fighting out of the blue corner, Sensei Seijo Imazaki.
Christian mentioned just a few moments ago, Seijo Imazaki at 45 years old taking this fight. He told me earlier it's kind of interesting because it's my opponent's beginning, but I'm really coming to my end. So you're kind of getting the two tail ends of a career here, right? The beginning tail, or the beginning head, and then the ending tail as we take a look at the tail of the tape that is brought to you by the Beast Unleashed. Imazaki with a couple inches on Valanti 300 Atsas. And as we know, the record for Valanti right now stands undefeated as a pro. But as you mentioned, Eddie, the real record, if you will, is that this series between these two fighters stands at 1-1. And here we are 6 years after their first bout that they had as amateurs, and they get a chance to take, in this rubber match, to see who's going to take home the glory.
Sure, like you said, it's almost like a passing of the torch, not predicting.
Maybe not change things up. We see him walking out with James Dunn, Omo Gonzalez, two guys that are surging right now in their career. So he's making sure that he's getting the freshest looks inside the cage, inside the gym, so that he can be the best version of himself inside the cage as he takes on, Atsas, a young, hungry lion tonight.
You mentioned, Eddie, the dojo, the gym that he owns in Chicago, and that's really, it's what he feels is his legacy.
Sure.
He's built a community in the South Loop of Chicago with this thing. It's a staple in the community. They just had their 10-year anniversary, and he fights tonight not for himself, but for his community.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's bouts are sanctioned by the Athletic Division of the Indiana Gaming Commission, Joanna Holland, Director. Commission Representative at Cageside, Carson Gaines. Inspector Ed Ochoa. Head Commissioner Megan Slay. And Inspector Daryl Romanos. So now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our main event of the evening. It is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds and is in the welterweight division. So before we get the action started, I have one more thing to say. Maryville, Indiana, are you ready? Introducing first, fighting of the Birds, Hot Chicken, red corner. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, official weight 169.7 pounds. Representing Maxim Gym from Maryville, Indiana, please welcome Valanti 300 Atsas. And now let's welcome his opponent, fighting out of the Goji Resistance Apparel blue corner. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall, official weight 171 pounds. Representing Imazaki Dojo from Chicago, Illinois, let's welcome Sensei Seijo Imazaki. Referee in charge, Rob Madrigal.
So here we go, main event at EFN 21. It is the rubber match, the trilogy. Valanti 300 Atsas against Sensei Seijo Imazaki. This one is brought to you by the Beast Unleashed. Christian Eddie, don't be afraid of the big bad beast.
Don't tell me what to do. Well, it's Atsas taking the center of the cage right away. He looks really light on his feet tonight.
You can see Imazaki taking a little bit more slow, methodical look at this.